So hi, hello, namaste everyone. Thula badaharलाई Bhagwan Sarana. So this is me, Sunesh Manandhar, and today is a week after Balacharhe Jatra. Some type of informative vlog बनाउँदैछु म चाहिँ. So त्यही हो, to tell you guys about the Jatra हैन. फर्स्टमा हिस्ट्री नै अलिकति भन्छु हैन. So talking about Balacharhe Jatra हैन. Balacharhe Jatra is the Jatra of Sri Luti Ajima and her children. Actually, it's called Luti. Luti, Lu means सुन, ती भने चाहिँ अब टिसाहरू केही होला. लुटी पहिला चाहिँ लुटी मरु अजिमा भन्थे, केही पनि नभएको. अनि पछि यो स्टोरी ब्याक इन द स्टोरी हैन, पैसा भइसकेपछि लुटी अजिमा भन्न सुरु गरेको हो. लुटी अजिमा इज अल्सो पपुलरली नोन एज इन्द्रायणी. इन्द्रायणी इज वान अफ द मेन 8 अष्टमातृकाज हैन. पहिला जमानामा चाहिँ गुणकामदेवले यही इस्ट्याब्लिस गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ यहाँलाई प्रोटेक्ट गर्ने हिसाबले चाहिँ एउटा के मलाई वर्ड आएन, तर समथिङ लाइक सोर्ड टाइपको आकारमा चाहिँ अजिमाहरूलाई राखेको भनिन्छ. सो हियर इज अ लिटल स्टोरी, अलिकति बिचतिर बसौँ. हियर इज अ लिटल स्टोरी अबाउट बालचरे जात्रा. ब्याक इन द डेज, अब भगवानहरूको जमाना होला त्यो बेला चाहिँ. पहिला बत्सला माजुले चाहिँ सबैको आमा मानिने बत्सला माजुले चाहिँ 8वटा अष्टमातृकाहरूलाई चाहिँ बोलाउँछन् घरमा, मतलब नक्त्या हिसाबले बोलाउँछ. तर इन्द्रायणी यानि कि लुती अजिमालाई चाहिँ एकदम गरिब भनेर हेप्ने गरिन्थ्यो अरे. त्यही हेप्ने गरिने कारणले चाहिँ लुती अजिमालाई त्यो दिन नबोलाइकन भोलिपल्ट बासी खान बोलाउँछ भन्छ. बासी खाने त्यही हिसाबले बासी खान बोलाएको भनेर थाहा पाएर लुती अजिमाले चाहिँ एकदम दुखित भएर चाहिँ घर फर्किँदै गर्दाखेरि बच्चाहरू पनि धेरै हुने गर्थ्यो अरे लुती अजिमाको, एकदमै धेरै. अनि घर फर्किने क्रममा एउटा बाटोमा चाहिँ फर्सी हो कि भोगटे हो, त्यो चाहिँ आइएम नट स्योर. टोल अनुसार यो स्टोरी चाहिँ डिफ्रेन्ट नै छ. बाटोमा जहाँ बच्चाहरूले धेरै दुःख दियो होइन, बच्चाहरूलाई त्यहीँ छोडेर गएको भनेर पनि भनिन्छ होइन. स्वाँचो पुगने देवलाई ठैँटीतिर, बुढी गणेशलाई चाहिँ झोलचोरमा, अनि शोभा भगवती चाहिँ आफ्नो आमासँग रिसाएर चाहिँ पुल पारी रे खुसी पारी चाहिँ शोभा भगवती बस्ने गरिन्छ. त्यो ल्याएको फर्सी अर भोगटे चाहिँ पकाउँछु भनेर पकाउँदाखेरि थकाइ लाएर लुती अजिमा निदाउनु भएछ अरे. निदाइसकेपछि भोलिपल्ट हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ सुन भएर आएछ अरे कि. अर्को पालि पाँचरेमा बोलाउँदाखेरि चाहिँ के भयो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब अहिले चाहिँ धनी भएर चाहिँ त्यही दिन बोलाएर बासी नखाइकन त्यही दिनको फ्रेस खुवाउनु भयो. सुनेको हिसाबमा चाहिँ त्यस्तै हो. अनि त्यो खुवाउनु भइसकेपछि चाहिँ अनि लुती अजिमाले चाहिँ के गर्यो भन्दाखेरि आफू नखाइकन सुन चाँदीलाई चाहिँ खुवाउनु भयो अरे. के गरेको यो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ लुती अजिमाले चाहिँ यो मलाई खुवाएको होइन, यो मेरो सुन चाँदीलाई खुवाएको हो, मेरो धन सम्पत्तिलाई खुवाएको हो, यो मलाई रेस्पेक्ट गरेको होइन, मेरो धन सम्पत्तिलाई रेस्पेक्ट गरेको हो भनेर सुन चाँदीलाई खुवाउनु भएछ. अनि रुँदै फर्किनु भएछ. अनि फर्किँदै क्रममा चाहिँ सुनेको हिसाबमा चाहिँ यता ट्योराको जुजुले, थकु जुजु भनौँ, पहिला त जुजुहरू धेरै नै हुने, थकु जुजुले चाहिँ देख्दाखेरि अजिमा रुँदै आएको देख्नुभयो. अनि त्यही हिसाबले चाहिँ होइन 5 4 महिना अगाडि बालचरे जात्रा गर्ने चलन छ. बालचरे जात्रा होइन, लुती अजिमाको छुट्टै जात्रा गरिने चलन छ. कीर्तिपुरको इन्द्रायणीसँग पनि रिलेटेड नै छ यो, यहाँको इन्द्रायणी र कीर्तिपुरको इन्द्रायणी. अब त्यो चाहिँ कतै लिङ्क हालिदिउँला म स्टोरीको. अब 6वटा खत ल्याइन्छ अहिले चाहिँ. पहिला चाहिँ 7वटा भनिन्छ. त्यो कसैले देखेको चाहिँ छैन अहिलेसम्म. मैले पनि देखाएको छैन, मेरो हजुरबाले पनि विटनेस गर्नुभएको छैन अरे 7वटा खत ल्याउने. क्षेत्रपाटीको श्वेत भैरव, अब इन्द्रायणीको हस्बेन्ड टाइप भनिन्छ श्वेत भैरवलाई चाहिँ. अब उहाँको पनि जात्रा गरिन्थ्यो भन्थ्यो. अझै स्वाछपु गने देवको भन्दा पनि अगाडि खत हालिन्थ्यो अरे. बालचरे चाहिँ ओभरअल एकदमै रमाइलो भयो. 1 हप्तापछि पनि अलिकति जिउ दुखिरहेको छ. खतसत अलिअलि बोकेँ, धेरै त बोक्न सक्दिनँ म. अब भिडियोमै म अलिकति भोइस ओभर गर्न ट्राई गर्छु. आवाज त्यति राम्रो छैन मेरो. अब सो त्यही हो.
So this is how the Balacharhe Jatra started for me this year. The first day for us is the way of Falcha Guthi. the falsa that is just in front of the Swachapu Ganesh temple at Thahiti. So we started off by drinking rice beer, having same bhaji from around 10:30 in the morning. Then I tried to help in the kitchen. This was the second time that I ever stayed in the kitchen for helping. Learning from Tawbas and Hajurbas can be a bit harsh sometimes. And then this happened. The thing you guys see me stirring is known as kokwa, also known as bulla by some communities. This is one of the best thing to have when it is hot, but you don't want to taste it when it's cold. After the jobs done in the kitchen, the whey was distributed to all 15 families we had in our Falcha Guti, and then we had a party to attend before the Jatra. So we were already tipsy before the Jatra. After the party, we went to the home of Almighty Luti Azima that is located at Jatra, which is known as Cheuda in today's day. Luti Ajima is then taken from her home to her temple, which is located at Thaku. There are several pujas and sacrifices that are given to the Almighty Luti Ajima on the way to the goddess's temple. And we were there to support musically.
हेलो एन्ड नमस्ते एभ्री वान जोजोलप्पा अनि भगवान् शरण ठुला बडालाई चाहिँ सो वी आर फाइनली ब्याक फ्रम बालचरे जात्रा फर्स्ट डे द्याट इज गमे डे भनेको लुती अजिमाको देव चाहिँ द्याट इज देवी घर त्योडाबाट चाहिँ इन्द्रायणी लगिन्छ सो आज चाहिँ फर्स्ट डे थियो सो रमाइलो भयो होइन सो अलिकति मुख पनि अलिकति चिल्लो देखिन सक्छ त्यसको लागि चाहिँ सरी होइन अब जात्रा गरेर आएको रमाइलो नै भयो अब फर्स्टमा चाहिँ पार्टी गयो अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ दौडी दौडी आएर जात्रा गयो। फर्स्ट डे यसरी नै बित्यो। अब सेकेन्ड डे भोलि देवहरू सबै थैटी ल्याउँछ, 6वटा देवहरू सबै थैटी ल्याउँछ। सो भोलि चाहिँ अझै योभन्दा पनि आजभन्दा पनि धेरै रमाइलो हुन्छ भोलि चाहिँ। अनि पर्सि अझै रमाइलो हुन्छ। त्यो रमाइलो चाहिँ बढ्दै बढ्दै जान्छ। सो त्यही हो अहिलेको लागि चाहिँ। सो म चाहिँ घर पुगिसकेँ। भोलि चाहिँ अब 6 साढे 6तिर घरबाट निस्केर फुए खाएर लुती गइन्छ। लुतीबाट चाहिँ फेरि घुमी बाहिर निस्किएर थैटी पुगिन्छ। अनि थैटीमा चाहिँ हाम्रो आफ्नै खालीको रमाइलो हुन्छ। सो त्यही हो अहिलेको लागि चाहिँ। सो अघि अलिकति टाकटुक हेरिसक्नुभयो होला। अलिकति खिचेको छु, त्यति चाहिँ खिचेको छैन। अनि मेरो भाइ युनिसलाई चाहिँ एकदम धन्यवाद भन्छु। धन्यवाद, थ्याङ्क यू हैन नेवारीमा सुबे। भोलि चाहिँ हाम्रो थैटी ल्याउने जात्रा। सो स्टे ट्युन्ड।
So the second day of Balacharhe Jatra started from the temple of Sri Lutiyajima at around 8 in the morning. There are 3 chariots brought into the temple of Lutiyajima: Jwalamai, Machakhacha and Lutiyajima herself. Jwalamai is also known as Manakamana and Machakhacha is also known as Mangkhocha. The devotees from nearby localities come with offerings and sacrifices to the goddess. A special home was done at midnight after the Lutiyajima was brought in the temple last night. In this home, different type of grains and animals are offered to the flame in front of Indrayani. There were snakes and sparrows offered before, but due to lack of free spaces and no forests, farms and fields nearby, finding snakes has been impossible nowadays. After we finish playing Dabba, we have Samay Baji in the morning. Then we wait for the clock to hit 6 and again we have way at Tahiti and leave for the Jatra to bring Sri Lutiyajima Indrayani Devi to Tahiti. This time I called some of my friends to witness the Jatra. We stay in the temple premises until the statue of goddess Indrayani is seated inside the chariot, which is also known as Kha in Newari, Khat in Nepali. Then the devotees carry the khat and make rounds of the temple. A very interesting part of the Jatra takes place here. The locals around Thaku and Khusibum try to hold the chariot by making as much rounds as possible, while the locals of Thaiti, Chhatrapati, and Tioda try to push the chariot outside towards Thaiti. Like day one, the pujas and offerings are taken along the way to Tahiti. We dance in joy as the goddess comes to Tahiti once a year in the occasion of Balacharhe. All the other gods are already at Tahiti before the Luthi Ajima arrives. The day 2 of the Jatra concludes after the arrival of Sri Luthi Ajima. And again we sing and dance in joy.
So hi, hello, namaste. So we are finally back from second day of Jatra, that is 20 मा सबै देवहरू ल्याउने. वान अफ द मोस्ट इन्ट्रेस्टिङ आज नै हो होइन, भोलि पनि हो. प्लस त्यही हो, अब घर पुगिसकेको छ लाइक 12:15 भइसकेको छ. सबैजना छुट्टी पनि सकेका छन् घरमा पनि. सो आज रमाइलो भयो, साथीहरू पनि आयो. सरी फर द ब्याड भिडियो क्वालिटी होइन, लाइट पनि सानो बल्दैछ, राति भइसकेको छ. इन्द्रायणीमा चाहिँ बाई बाई, सी यु टुमोरो.
So the third day starts off by playing Dapa at Tahiti. Balacharhe Jatra means more to us than Dasai, Tihar, or any other festivals or Jatras. I personally have an emotional attachment with this Jatra.
While we were kids, we used to enact Balacharhe Jatra. We used to carry a person, our friends, as if he or she were a khat or a chariot. Then we used to throw them in air, enacting the Balacharhe Jatra. And I assume that the kids nowadays do not even know what Balacharhe Jatra is, what Balacharhe Jatra is about. Once upon a time, me and my brothers went to Balacharhe Jatra without informing at our homes. So we got punished in front of everyone by my father.
It is said that Balacharhe Jatra is one of the most important Jatras or feasts of Thane, that is the upper part of the ancient Kathmandu city. There used to be huge crowds during the Jatra, but nowadays even the related Bhutis aren't concerned about this Jatra. Deopalas, that is the caretakers of Luti Ajima, pay the porters to carry the chariots. There are no local marching bands, dhime bajas or nahi when the goddess is taken from Haiti to Inbahal. It's on the verge of being extinct. This time we tried to go with the goddess Indrayani along with our dhimes. Thanks to Saroz Dai, Mujo and Nista for coming up with the idea. We went till Inbahal and the goddess wasn't in procession without music for even a single moment. Then we went home and changed to our Daura Surwals and came back to join the Jatra. So I was a little bit late this time. I met everyone at Lagan and proceeded with our baza, playing basuri and singing the traditional tune of Sri Luti Ajima, aka Indrayani Devi. Now the people started getting drunk and enjoying. Some were busy carrying huts, some were busy singing and dancing, some were busy managing, and some were busy eating. As we get closer to Tahiti, we get a little bit sad that the Jatra is going to end soon, but at the same time, we try to enjoy every bit left of the Jatra.
There is a very famous saying in Nepali, Najikko Deuta Hela, which translates into the nearest deity is despised, which holds very true by seeing the people around Thaiti, Teuda and Chhatrapati. The people here are very less interested in their own Jatra. They would rather celebrate other festivals than our very own Balacharhe. I request every single family that are somehow related with Balacharhe Jatra to simply join this Jatra and celebrate with us. Our ancestors have done much for us by preserving this Jatra and handing over us with the responsibility of such an interesting, eventful and unique Jatra. Jatras are the gems of the country. We cannot just simply let them be extinct. We have to preserve them for the upcoming generation.
We used to stay at Thaiti and dance, but this year we went to Teuda Dyoche, that is Luti Ajima's home, to drop the Almighty safely back to her home and thank Luti Ajima for coming this year. Now we wait for Luti Ajima to come to our tolls or street next year on the occasion of Balacharhe. We hope that we'll be able to make the next year's Jatra more involving and exciting than this year's. And I call out all the brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, tobas, kakas, hajurbas and hajurmas from around Thaiti, Chhatrapati, Teuda, Thaku, Dhobichor, Tanani, Neta and Majipa to join us for the Jatra next year. I specially request the Dyopalas and caretakers of the goddess Jwalamai to please join the Jatra. I do not know what happened in the past days, but I hope we get positive response from your side and may we see your Guti and your people carrying the cut of Jwalamai. Jai Indrayani.
Indrayani Mai ke Jai! Jai Indrayani Mai. Jai! Jai Indrayani Mai ki Jai! Saya tanah lutia Jai Indrayani. Indrayani Jagata Janani